Hi, I'm Angie, and today I'm going to explain you to give you a summary of the second language acquisition course, and in which is divided in 7 units. The first unit is fundamentals of second language acquisition. In general, it goes related. This unit it is explained that the second language acquisition is a process of developing a language that doesn't belong to the mother tongue. Language can be learned or acquired depending on the context and environment of the learner. Uh, I will be also here. It is said that we all born with a native language, which is a language that we learn from our parents, and we can get a second language. It could be second language or a foreign language, and it could be learned or acquired. The differences between learning and acquisition is that learning is a formal process. You get the language in environment like schools, education centers, courses, formal courses, while the acquisition is getting the language through real life situations to environments where you're surrounded about all the with, about your target language and so on. The second unit is the role of the first language basic, which is basically the stages that a baby, that a child takes goes through when learning their first language, and some of these stages can be also applied when learning a second language. And another thing, the third unit is the theories of the second language acquisition. These theories describe the ways that people acquire and learn their language. There are four theories presented by different authors, which are behaviorism, innovatism, cognitivism, and socioculturalism. Behaviorism is presented by Skinner. This theory states that any human behavior can be learned through stimulus and positive or negative responses. The innovatism theory is described by Noam Chomsky, and it is described that this theory is a natural ability to develop a language that all human beings have at born. And Chomsky also called this innate ability a language acquisition device. Then we go with cognitivism. This is an Anderson's theory, and it states that every process made in is completely cognitive, dividing the knowledge in different areas of the brain, such as long-term or short-term memory. The last one is socioculturalism. This is a theory created by Vygotsky, and it argues that everything is learned socially by interaction with people or culture around the learner, providing them linguistic environment and comprehensible input. The unit 4 is related to unit 3 and is the Krashen's theory of the second language acquisition. Krashen's theory of second language acquisition consists in 5 hypotheses, which are the acquisition learning, the monitor, the natural order, and the input hypothesis, and the effective filter hypothesis. The acquisition learning hypothesis states that there are two ways of second language performance and acquisition learning. The first one refers to the informal way to perform the language through natural and subconscious interactions, while the other one represents a formal and conscious process, following learning order and grammatical rules. The second hypothesis is monitor, which explains the relationship between the acquisition and learning and its use. There are three types of monitor users: the monitor over users, the optimal monitor user, and the monitor under users. The third one is the natural order hypothesis. This hypothesis states that the second language learner acquire grammatical structures and predetermined natural order. Some of them are acquired earlier than others. The following hypothesis is the input hypothesis. Here it is stated that we don't learn but acquire the language by understanding input that is slightly beyond our current level of competence. This hypothesis focuses only on in reading and listening and comprehension. Lastly, the affective filter hypothesis refers to the feelings that affect the student's learning, whether if they open or block their knowledge. There are three affective filters, which are motivation, self-confidence, and anxiety. We need to have a balance in all of them in order to have a better uh, acquisition of the language. Um, in general, in this unit, this is more focused to two main characteristics that involve these five hypotheses, learning and acquisition. As previously mentioned, the difference between them is mainly the process following to perform the language. While learning is more focused to the formal process and the grammatical structures, uh, acquisition is informal process developed mainly through natural communication and without any type of a specific order of acquisition. The next unit is the number five, individual differences in second language learning. This unit specifies that there are some characteristics that can define whether a learner is a good learner or a bad learner. And you can identify them by paying close attention to the student and its behavior. Some of the characteristics are perseverance, focus, interest in the language, willingness to learn, self-confidence, personality, motivation, attitudes, etc. These characteristics help us identify the type of learner. However, what really defines them is their behavior on those characteristics. Moving on, we have the unit 6, which is learner language, and this shows some some concepts that go that they be used to try to identify the type of learners and how their behavior out of it during the it is applied. We have contrastive analysis, error analysis, interlanguage, intralanguage, and fossilization. Contrastive analysis is developed to examine the difference between two languages and in an effort to identify problem areas for language learners. Error analysis it was made to analyze and identify the type of mistakes that students commonly make. Interlanguage is a term that describes the language learner's journey from its native language, at L1, to the acquisition of the target language, which is the L2. And this type of error could be from interference from the L1 to the L2. Interlanguage is a term that describes the type of errors made when they are developmental. For example, it shows a gap of knowledge of a rule that is or that the level is above the student's level. And lastly, we have fossilization. It is a term used to refer to those type of errors which students continue making even when they've been told it is wrong. But the fact that the error doesn't seem to disrupt the communication is enough reason to not pay attention to this importance. Lastly, we have the Unit 7, Context for Language Learning. This last unit refers to the different settings and processes for learning inside a classroom, as well as environments in which first and second language occurs. We have a few concepts. We have the natural acquisition context, we have structure-based instructional environments, and communicative, content-based, and task-based instructional environments. The natural acquisition context it is understood as those situations in which the learner is exposed to the language. It could be at work or school or social interactions, and in the case of children, much of their learning will take place in the interaction with peers as well as through instruction from the teacher. Structure-based instructional environments, it is in context when the language is taught a group of second foreign language learners. It is teachers' goal to verify that students learn vocabulary and grammatical rules of the target language. Communicative, content-based, and task-based instructional environments are also involves learners whose goal is learning the language itself. The communicative and task-based are often from the interest of the learner, while in the content-based, the focus is often on the subject matter, such as history or math, in which the student learns the language through another subject. Well, this is pretty much it about what it was the this course during the semester. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you. Thank you for your attention.